Hey!
Woo!
Here we are, number 4. Yes,
We made it.
I know, it's so awesome. This is amazing. So we finally got it. Oh, we got a special guest in the background.
I see that.
What's he telling
I hear
you?
that. Yeah.
What's he telling you?
He's done. He's done.
Is he done?
Yes.
Always got to get your Body by Pickleball in there. Make sure everybody sees that. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. But so good to see her. Let's cheers for number 4. Number 4. Here we go. Hope everybody's watching us live. Hope you're watching us live on Facebook. We are enjoying a little beverages tonight. Nice. We're excited. We've got a lot going on.
We are grown-ups, right? We are grown-ups. We can have grown-up beverages.
Tell me what to do. I'm a grown-up. I can do what I want. So hopefully you can see your comments. If you guys want to comment, you feel free to send some comments to us. That'd be great. We're super excited. So welcome to the Joy of Pickleball. I'm Sean Bailey. This is Carla. She's very excited to be here. We are excited to have you here. We have a lot going on tonight. Well, really just one thing, but it's super exciting to have one person on the show. That's going to be so exciting. So that's awesome. But let's talk about it. We've got a lot going on lately, right? First of all, I want to tell you why I'm wearing this incredible shirt today. Just because today I made my my modeling debut at work. They needed a father for our Father's Day project, so I had the father look. So I got some pictures in there. This is
you
might see us on the website next week for Father's Day. And is that you with the gold medal over there on the left?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Look at you, Miss Gold medalist. Hello. Oh, who's that good-looking dude down below?
I think that's you, Sean.
I'm talking about John Martin. But yes.
Oh, yes, and John.
We won silver over the weekend, so it was a good time. I was excited he asked me to play with him, and I think we had a good time. We played well, so it was nice. So it was a good time. But again, I just wanted to show you guys my my modeling career right here. Oh, look at that. Yeah. So if you guys get a chance, you guys can go to casemate.com over the Father's Day weekend, and you're going to see this great promotion. I had to brag a little, so that's what I was wearing that. But aren't you wearing something for the special occasion today?
I am. I've got my rainbow print. Let's see if you can see it.
Hard to see,
Rainbow.
Yeah, and you know what? And to go along with that, you know what you can do? You can go to Body by Pickleball, and you can get a nice pickleball rainbow shirt, so you can honor the Pride Month. So there it is. Make sure you go there. So that is Carla's site, and it's killing it. It's doing great. So feel free to go by, get a nice shirt, because you need different shirts for playing pickleball. I mean, I have to carry 2 or 3 with me all the time because I'm a sweater. I'm not going to lie. I call myself Shamu. You know I do. I'm like, to get too close, you're going to get splattered on all over the place. It's Shamu. Now that it's getting hot again, too, it's getting worse. It's going to get worse. So
that certainly is the theme of this season, right? It's hot.
It's so hot. So
and if it's not hot, it's humid.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know, but you know what? As we keep moving through this sport that we love so much, we keep learning different things, and that's one of them. So making sure we're hydrating, make sure we have different clothes. By the way, I've heard you had some clothing failures on down below on the feet. What's going on?
Well, it's interesting for those of us who just became athletes again in their middle age. One of the things that may have been just common sense to other people who just play tennis throughout their adulthood. I just noticed that I reached a plateau and I just wasn't feeling all that well. And I'm like, what's going on? Is it this? Is it that? Do I need a therapist? This and that. And then the pain started. Then I started getting pain in my knee and then my hip. And I just wasn't myself. I mean, didn't you notice, Sean?
Yeah, a little.
That's a trick question because I'm always in a good mood.
When I say, because sometimes you can be a little mean to me on the court. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Not at all.
So then I finally got, maybe I need shoe inserts. So I take my shoe over to a shop and they're like, lady, your cushion's all gone on the back of your shoe. You've been impacting that cement you've been running on has been going right up your foot, right into your knee, right up your hip. So it's just getting new shoes. When you play as much pickleball as many of us do, expect to buy new shoes every 3 or 4 months. Yeah, once that pain starts, once you just feel off your game and it doesn't go away, could be your shoe.
Also, you got to also be aware of the front of it too, wearing down and getting slippery too. I have that with my tennis shoes. They start wearing out in their front toe and moving around. In pickleball, I don't move as much as in tennis, but they do wear down because you're on that hard surface in the heat. Now with the heat too, you're going to be running on a hard surface in the shoes. That'll wear down too. So be very aware of both the front and the back of the shoe. to avoid injury as much as possible. I mean, I'm injured right now. It's gonna get gross, but I lost a toenail again. This is like 7 straight years. 7 straight years of not having 2 toenails. I'm just saying it right now. 7 straight years.
Yeah.
So, and then the right one's gone. The left one, I guarantee by the end of it, it'll be gone. It's black and blue. It's so sexy. People at the pool they love seeing my feet. They're like, oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. So, but that's just part of the sport. Stopping short, it bangs, and then your toe is a little damaged. And I got massive toes. It's weird. It's crazy. So it's not good. It's not good. But that's okay. But it's getting better. It's getting better. So nice.
So yeah, and one of the other things I've learned is that I don't know. I don't think I do as well in competitions over the summer. I think fall is going to be it for me. Fall and indoor tournaments until I get used to this heat. I know you had that special trick to get used to the heat.
Look, I love playing in the heat. My brother and I play tennis in the heat, and we love it. People think it's weird, but every time I've seen him playing, you'll see me with an undershirt on. It's a fitted undershirt and then another shirt. And no matter what the heat is, I wear it all the time. And I always I wear a pullover a lot too. And I want to get ready for the heat. So when that heat goes and other people are wearing down, I'm fresh. I'm moving forward. The heat doesn't bother me as much. It really doesn't. I enjoy it. I play in the heat. We go out, my brother and I, a lot of times it'll be 95 degrees and everybody's, you're crazy. We love it. It's just a blast. So I think is I prepare for it all the time. And even when we play indoors again, I layer up and it's hot. But you know what? When we get outside, that's me. That's just me. It allows me to continue going and not let the heat wear me down.
Yep. So. I didn't think I could turn out, a shade darker, but I keep doing it. And someone like me who never really was keen on the sunscreen, now it's a different story. If I'm going to be out there as much as I am, I'm putting on sunscreen.
Got to put it on. You definitely got to protect yourself. I mean, I wear a hat all the time. That's mainly because I told you, I'm like Shamu. It's coming down my face. If I don't have a hat on,
I know.
I can't see.
You're telling me.
I know. I've blinded you. I'm like, so it's bad. So, it's bad. But yeah, you just got to prepare for all of it. Towel, water, proper clothing, and making sure. And if you are out there playing in the heat, please hydrate a lot. And we've had a video. If you go to our the Joy of Pickleball Facebook page, you'll see a video we talk about. It doesn't always have to be water. Make sure your nutrition. So you're always having food that has water in it, like cucumbers, pineapple, strawberries, stuff like that. And make sure you're hydrating all the time. And it'll help you in the long run. And it's just something I've been it's always good before a tournament too. If you don't know this, really hydrate the day before too. It's nice to hydrate while the day, but you really get your body hydrated before it. So really drink a lot of water. And they always say when you're hydrated, you always drink one more than what you really want. That'll help you with the hydration too. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm just gonna keep talking.
I think that's gonna be the key word for this show. Every time you say hydrate.
Yeah. Oh, true. That's right. Should be our drinking word.
Yeah. That's five times you said hydrate.
We keep that up. I'll be on the floor. Where'd he go? So it's awesome. But yeah. So real quick before we go, I just want to give a shout out to my company. I have to all the time, Casemate. So if you guys are looking for some air tags, and new air tags are coming out, we definitely got the tags and the styles, air tag holders for them. Protective cases, you got to protect our investment. You can see we have some stylish cases, very protective. So if you get a chance, go to casemate.com. And, make sure you're protecting that investment because we do pay a lot of money for our phones and we want to make sure we're protecting them. So get it. Oh, we also have the Lewy brand, which also shows off the mirrors and the lights. So you got this so you can look great. So just have to give them a little shout out. They do pay the bills here over the house. So at the bill. So, why not give them a little love, So tell me, you are getting ready to go play the indoor tournament over in Hoover. I keep saying Hoover. So are you excited? What's going on?
I am. I've got a fellow ambassador friend coming from Seattle to partner with me. Yes.
I'm going to talk to Ben because I want to go to Seattle and play with him out there.
That's right. So we're going to be mixed doubles partner. I'm playing singles. So I said I would never sign up for all 3 events in a major tournament. And guess what I signed up for?
All 3.
Exactly.
Who's your women's partner?
A local friend had asked me if I would step in for her partner, but her partner eventually showed. So I was lingering out in outer space there for a while, and somebody picked me up. So she said, why don't we play? We're both going to be there between mixed doubles and singles. I was going to be there anyway. So I said, hey, let's do it. Sometimes those pairs that you meet right there on the spot work out perfect.
It does. You know, it's funny because I played with John last weekend. And I played against him down in Macon. I played in the round robin with him a little in the Oregon Park. But we didn't really know. He just reached out and said, hey, you want to join? And we played together one day together. And you know what? I thought we played really well together. Good communication. It had fun. You know, I think it's like thunder and lightning. He's a lot of power, and I'm always that finesse. You know? So he was like, bow. I'm like, tink, bow, tink. It worked out. It worked out well for us. I think it came. You can see the results were pretty good. So it's nice. Well, good luck. That's going to be awesome. Playing with them. Remember, communication. No matter what during the thing, just communicate. Don't be afraid to.
No, and it's indoors. So it's indoors. So I will be able to wear my cute outfits, not have to change because it's too sweaty. I hope that air conditioning is working well, and I think I will be at my best. I did learn, remember, to play indoors first. Outdoors was just a consequence of the quarantine.
Yes.
So I think I'm going to kick butt.
Yes. No, I'm super excited for you. What's the outfit? You have 3 days. You can have the same outfit. You can have 3 different outfits.
No, I have it. It's like old Mexico. It's a tank and some biker shorts, and it has a print reminiscent of like Frida Kahlo's art. You know, old Mexico. That's really sweet. And the other ones, you know, I bought a skirt at the Atlanta Open, which, by the way, hey, shout out to Chris Wolf. He made it all happen. You know, it worked out fine. It just happened to be the hottest weekend of the year, you know, but that wasn't their doing. But, you know, I mean, he put in the work and it got done. You know, I enjoyed watching the pros play. I enjoyed watching my friends play, especially those who held on and got those medals. Congratulations to everyone who participated.
You didn't enjoy watching us play? That wasn't because we didn't make it very long. Is that why? Are you saying that you had plenty of time to watch other people? Right? Is that what we're saying?
And I don't remember. I think I yelled at our opponents. That was so unlike me.
You did.
Well, I think you know what it was. You gave me that monster beverage, like you're giving it to a kid. I never had that before. I never had that, so I think it made me into like a Hulk. I was mad.
I don't hold that. When you say you took it out of my hand and drank it on your own. It wasn't like I was a little crack dealer. The first one's free. No, you took it out of my hand and used it, and then you yelled at our first opponent. He did. He unnecessarily hit one at you that was a little over the top, and you did get you mad. So, yes. But you know what? But that's what this is show. But you know what? I'm excited. We should get this show started, right? I know we've been talking, but let's get this show started because we're going to bring in a special guest. But you know what? Let's get this show started with the little first. All right, welcome to Joy of Pickleball. We've been talking. We're very excited because we have a great guest coming. And you know what? He sent me a good bio, but you know what? It was so awesome. I want him to tell you the bio because it was too damn good for me to sit here and read or talk about it. So I want everybody, please welcome to the show, Michael O'Leary. Michael!
How are you?
Hi, how you doing?
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. We're glad you could be here. So we're very excited. So I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, and I know you get to meet Carla. I got to see you play at Shaw one day when I was at the top level courts, and you were down playing below. But everybody's heard but nothing but great things about you. And you know what? With your story, we just thought it'd be amazing if you came on and we got to hear the story from you. Why not from your mouth instead of ours? So first of all, before we go to now, let's go back a little. I mean, you were a fireman, you're a paramedic. Wow. And by the way, I just want to let you know real quick, you're not our first international person. I know you're Canadian. We had Mark Price on, who was from England last week. So sorry, you're our second international person. Yeah. Technically, unless Carla too. You know, she's from someplace else too. But
well, I'm not Canadian anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
But I still hold the Canadian flag pretty close to me, though. Even though I'm. What's
your hockey team? What's your hockey team then?
Well, there's only one. Toronto.
It's the Montreal Canadiens?
Toronto.
Oh, Toronto. Oh, you're from nice. Yeah. I got to see a Toronto Maple. I went up there one time and got to see a game there, which was awesome. I had a blast. It was a great time. Yeah. So nice.
I grew up in Toronto, and I used to go to the Maple Leaf Gardens a long time ago. It doesn't even exist now as an arena, but yeah, I kind of grew up there.
Yeah, they now you can correct me here. Either they copied it from the Bulls or the Bulls copied them. The opening ceremony at the beginning of the game is that high energy music and lighting show and everything. It's very much like how the Bulls used to be with Michael Jordan. But someone said I think they copied it from the Bulls, or the Bulls copied it from them. Okay, no, because it's so high energy when the game starts. You're like, yeah, like I just want to play. So
Exactly.
It was just awesome,
yeah.
so.
And in Canada, they also call soccer football, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yeah, that's the British influence. Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
She just liked to bring it up. She brought it to Mark
I know.
too. You know, you just like bringing it up. So tell us. So give us a journey of your athletic career, because you said you were a certified trainer with athletes and everything. So walk us through some of your exploits.
Well, my first degree was in exercise physiology. So, and that was University of Michigan. I moved from Canada, my early 20s to Michigan, and I spent my whole career there. I was a downhill skier. I used to race with some of the Canadian World Cup team, and
Nice.
And then after my ski career was over, I ended up racing jet skis for a while. The old-fashioned stand-up jet skis.
Yeah. Wow.
that nobody wants to ride anymore.
Not anymore. No. Yeah. Everybody just sit down. It's a lot easier to just sit down and ride it through the water now. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody wants to borrow your stand-up jet ski because they can't ride them.
Yeah.
But no, I did that for a while, and I played a lot of all during these major sports that I was in, and I played a lot of hockey too. But I played a lot of squash and racquetball, and squash in particular when I was like 18 to 20, 22, 23, somewhere around there. Yeah. And that's really was I never played much tennis. I played a couple times, and that's about it. But yeah, my journey into pickleball was kind of interesting. I spent the last 10 years on Marco Island in Florida.
Just real quick, Carla has some facts about Marco Island she wants to bring up to you. So, Carla, tell us a little more about Marco Island.
Well, Marco Island, if the tour guide was not joshing us, that island is made up of oyster shells that the indigenous people just kept throwing. Over time, it made an island.
Yeah.
Do you know that, Michael?
Well, yes, I do. The Calusa Indians, way back, they were big fishermen, and that was how they sustained their lives. Actually, was fishing for oysters mostly, and it was the oysters in that area. They were just everywhere, 200-300 years ago, and it continued on into the 20th century. There was a big oyster community. Now they're virtually gone from that area. But yeah, a lot of the mounds, you can see these burial grounds from the Indians and everything, and they're just mounds of broken oyster shells everywhere.
So we know now we can't stump Michael. That's all. You tried, and he was right on and gave you even more history. So,
yeah.
Hey, real quick, before we jump into the pickleball thing, I had to ask you a true hockey question. You played a lot of hockey. How many teeth did you lose? None, really? Oh, that's awesome.
I didn't play long enough to lose any.
Okay.
How many fights did you
took over? Yeah.
How many fights did you get into? I mean, that's what I know about hockey. That's the only thing I know.
Well, that's what I can't remember either. I don't know.
That means a lot.
There was an old saying in hockey. I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a big Bruins fan right now, and the Islanders and Brewers, they seem like every 2 minutes they're getting into a fight now. It's really testy with them right now. Which
I know. I've been watching it. One of my best friends is from Boston, from the Boston area. He spends half the year in Boston, half on Marco. And
nice.
Yeah, he's a diehard.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I just want to tell you right here, Cindy says Michael is a favorite. So, hi, Cindy. Thanks for joining me. There we go. So, okay. So, squash, racquetball. What's that?
I was just saying, Cindy's from Shaw. She's a real nice girl.
Yeah, we all know Cindy.
Great player, too.
So tell us, so from squash, racquetball, then you moved into, how did you find pickleball?
Well, I was on Marco, and I had some buddies that I used to work out with, and they said I think this is going back 6 years ago. They said,
Yeah.
you know, you got to come. They tried for about a year to get me to go play. And I said, you know what, guys, I stopped playing with wiffle balls when I was 5 years old. I said, I'm just not interested. I played squash and racquetball, and, you know, I love racket sports. But so finally I went out and played it one day, and I think I beat them all pretty significantly.
Wow.
Right off the get-go, and they weren't too happy. But
especially after all that crap talking about it, you're like, yeah.
That's right.
And they said, you can't come back anymore. And I said, okay, fine. But no, I was hooked right from the get-go, just like all of us. I mean, it's such an addiction. And, you know, if you were to ask me, you know, your program's The Joy of Pickleball, where the joy in pickleball comes from. You know, I was an athlete all my life. I really enjoyed the competition, and I love sports. I mean, just fanatical. But really, with pickleball, it wasn't even the competition; it was the people.
Yeah,
and it has been the people. Throughout all my medical issues that I've had, which I guess we'll get into a little bit here.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Sure. You know, the people hung by me when this all started for me, and it was pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time that we love this community more than anything. It's just no matter what we play, we love playing, we love the competition, but we love the people, and we have such a joy doing that.
Yeah, it's really, it's an amazing community of people. You don't find this. I'm not taking down any other sport, but for example, tennis. You know, it's a great sport, but you don't find the community or friends like you do in pickleball. I mean, I just think inherently the tennis, when you show up to play tennis, you play with a group, a small group, maybe 2 or 3 other people, if you're playing doubles or whatever, and you kind of, when you're done, you're done. You leave. But pickleball is just a rotational sport here, you know, with playing different people all day long, you know, and it just much more conducive to socializing and making friends.
Yeah, I tell Carla knows I travel for work a lot, and my goal is to hit all 50 states. And I travel with my paddle, and every time I go someplace new and I walk up, people are like, "Come on, join us." And you can't do that with a tennis racket. You just can't show up. People are like, "No," you know. But pickleball, everybody's like, "Yeah." I've never had a single person be like, "No." They're like, "Get over here."
Yep. And that's a very common sentiment about that. It is about community. I mean, a lot of us have noted that we have friends that otherwise we would never have crossed paths, much less taken each other's phone numbers, much less even gotten to know about their families.
Right.
I mean, that's how Carl and I met that way at Tucker, playing out on the court. So
where else would he meet someone out of his league? Like, you know.
Exactly. She boosted my status. That's all I'm gonna say, Michael.
And that is so typical of pickleball, the trash talking.
Yeah, I said that before too. I was like, yeah, so nice. Yeah. Well, so let's get into it. So you had some medical issues that took you down. So what happened?
Well, we're just now beginning to understand what happened after I made this miraculous recovery. About 6 years ago, I started having problems with my cognition. My short-term memory was terrible. Even my speech was terrible. I was starting to slur speech, and I started having nightmares like every night and acting out my dreams, called REM, sleep behavior disorder. And I started stumbling on the pickleball court. I was playing a lot, and I was getting to a pretty decent level, and all of a sudden I started having trouble just running across the court. I was an old guy, but I was still one of the quicker guys for an old guy, and all of a sudden I just started tripping frequently. And over a span of about 3 months, I went from playing on foot to no longer playing. And
wow!
This progression of these symptoms, and we went to all kinds of neurologists and appointments and things. We ended up at the Mayo Clinic. We spent a week there, and I was finally diagnosed with Lewy body dementia. And We went back home. It was a shock. I mean, the doctor basically
So
said,
real quick, Michael, what is Lewy body dementia? Just so.
Lewy body dementia is one of the dementias like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, but a combination kind of. You can have similar symptoms from both types. It's its own entity itself, though.
Yeah.
And it's a progressive disorder, and you from time of diagnosis to time of death is somewhere averages between 5 and 7 years.
Oh my God.
And so I kind of dealt with that for a few months after, and one day somebody came up to me and introduced me to a wheelchair pickleball program in Naples, Florida at the YMCA down there. And I hadn't played in months because of it, because of this change. I thought, well, pickleball's over for me, and I got in there, and within a few minutes of being rolling around, fumbling around, trying to figure out what direction I was really supposed to be going, and holding the paddle and the wheel and everything, it was very confusing. But within a few minutes, I kind of got the hang of it. And my wife Cindy was on the bleachers looking at me, and I guess I glanced over at her, and she said, that was when I knew you were back. I said, from that point on, I'm back in pickleball. I don't care if it's in a wheelchair or not. She said, I could tell by the smile on your face. She said, and it was true. We went home that day, and within a very short time, we had ordered my own custom wheelchair, sports wheelchair, and I was on the courts. I went back to Naples, East Naples, where the U.S. Open is, and all my friends were there, and I was kind of confused. We have these dry erase boards that you sign your name on to get onto a court and open play, and I didn't even know what level to go to. I've been used to playing on foot, and I would play on the 404.5s, and then I thought, there's no way in this chair that I could do that. So I went over to the 3.5s, and I put my name up there. It was the last name to go up there, and 3 guys that came on to the court with me, they kind of looked at each other, scratching their heads, and they're going, well, how should we do this? And I said, let me work it out for you. I said, who's the weakest player here? And they pointed to this, and I said, I'll take him. So we went on the court, I picked the weakest player, and we proceeded to win the next 2 games.
That's awesome.
Kind of from that point on, people just sort of welcomed me, back onto the courts. And soon after that, I was playing back at the 4.0 courts. I don't think I would ever get up to a 4.5 in a wheelchair. There's just mobility issues that you can't overcome.
Right.
But I can hang with the 4.0s in the wheelchair eventually. And,
that's awesome.
And then miraculously, this year I went to the U.S. Open, and I ended up winning gold in wheelchair singles.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
And then a silver in the hybrid division, which is one wheelchair with a standing partner versus a wheelchair and a standing partner. And that was really fun. But I was starting to turn around. My medical condition was starting to.
Well, before we get into your miraculous recovery, we want to talk about that, but I also want to talk about your foundation a little, because we know about Let's Roll. It's gonna come up here in a second. Woo! If my
That's right.
There it is. So there it is on the note. We got it on the site right here for everybody. Please, everybody. So let's pickleballshopping.com. Let's roll. So tell us a little more about the foundation. So before we,
Rodney Grubbs, who many people in the pickleball world know of because he owns Pickleball Rocks, which he's probably the biggest supplier of pickleball clothing in the business, really. And he contacted me several months ago, and he said, Michael, why don't we do something? He says, I've got an idea, and we'll take the proceeds from these t-shirts and hats and shorts and things and put them towards purchasing sport wheelchairs, because that's one of the things that I've done in the past. My wife and I actually have done that at the U.S. Open in the past. my wife is an artist, and she did the cover of the U.S. Open actually 3 years ago now, with Kyle and Simone on the cover and everything.
Oh,
she did.
Awesome.
We sold posters of that that work that she did, and we raised enough money to buy 3 wheelchairs, 3 sport wheelchairs, which is really important because anybody with a disability will know this. Their insurance will cover a regular day chair, but not one of these expensive sport chairs. So, and a lot of people who are disabled don't have the money to purchase a $3,000 or $4,000 wheelchair. So we bought 3, and then with the money we made on that, and we gave them to East Naples Veterans Park in north of Naples, and one of them went to the Marco Island Racket Club. And they've been used a ton down there. People are using them all the time. It's surprising. It's sort of like, if you give them it, they will come, if they
right.
feel
Yes,
the dreams.
absolutely.
And so that's kind of been my passion, and it continues to be that now that I've recovered even, and I won't be.
And
playing
since I didn't do my research enough, sorry, Ginny's here to help me. There's the link right to your foundation. So thank you, Ginny.
Oh.
Thanks for helping me.
Thanks, Jimmy. So Michael, for people who may have the opportunity to play hybrid pickleball, what are some rules that apply to people who are playing out of a chair that don't apply for standing pickleball players?
Play nice. No, the biggest rule that applies to a wheelchair player is that we're allowed 2 bounces. The ball can bounce twice, and before we make contact. Now, typically, I learned over the years playing in a chair that I don't want to take that second bounce too often. I don't like it. And the ball is bouncing so low that it's really a tough shot.
Right.
On the second bounce. So most of us that are pretty skilled at the mobility of wheelchair pickleball, we try to avoid that second bounce. The other thing is you have these 2 big wheels. The big wheels are your feet, so we can't volley in the kitchen or touch the kitchen line and volley. The caster wheels on the very front of the wheelchair can cross over the non-volley zone line, but on a volley, but not the big wheels. So that's basically the only real significant rule differences.
So when we play against a player like you, where we don't, we need every weapon we can get, what works best against you? A lob?
Oh, don't give a secret away. Wow.
Tell us.
Well, now that I'm not playing in it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. In the a lob could be a problem sometimes, but there's so many different levels of disabilities within wheelchair pickleball. I was one of the more able-bodied ones because I don't have any paralysis or anything like that. So I had good core strength. So I can lean back very far and get lobs. I can reach out really far. And, I had more physical ability to mobilize in the chair than, say, a quadriplegic or a paraplegic. There are actually quadriplegics who can play because they have some use of their upper body. Frequently, they'll have little tricks like they'll tape their paddle to their hand.
Oh, wow.
Literally tape it so that they don't drop it because their grip strength is weak and they have no core strength. And a lob to someone like that's just plain mean.
Yeah.
But I could get most of the lobs. But if I had a strong partner that understood my abilities in the wheelchair, we would frequently just switch. The second we recognize there's going to be a lobber over me, I could cover the court pretty well. I didn't realize, I thought I was covering the court really well in the wheelchair until just recently when I started playing on foot again, when I was able to in my recovery here.
Yeah, let's talk about your recovery a little. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Well, it was starting just before the U.S. Open. I had a fall about a month prior to that, and I lost my speech completely. Just the way it affected the brain. And just about 2 or 3 days before I went to Florida to the U.S. Open, I started talking again. But it wasn't fluent, but it was starting to come back.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I said to my wife, Cindy, I said, it's not just my speech that's coming back. My brain's feeling clearer, and I'm not having my nightmares anymore, and I'm not hallucinating, which I would do frequently. And by the time we got to Florida, I was pretty much speaking fluently. I had my cane. I was, for the last 5 years, to get around, I walked with a cane to get around the house, and I sort of shuffled my feet. And by the time we got home from the U.S. Open, I had stopped using the cane. I just put the cane in an old golf bag in the garage and said, "You're staying there. You're not coming out." But I did go for a treatment in Florida when we were down at the U.S. Open too. It was a sort of a stem cell type treatment at a facility down there. The doctor who is in charge there is also the team doctor for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And a friend of mine had recommended me going to this place. And what they do, it's called, just really quick, they're taking a stem cell and they're cleaning it. They're taking the DNA out of the stem cell. You're left with what's called exosome. And exosome is basically the biogenetic material that initiates life, because it's taken from a woman's placenta. And I had this treatment, one infusion for about 20 minutes, I think. And I literally walked out of there feeling better. And they said, "We think this is going to boost what's already happening in your system." And it really has. I mean, I'm back 100%. I'm back where I was 6 years ago. And the doctors think that, well, they know that it was not a correct diagnosis that I had. It couldn't have been Lewy body because that's not reversible.
Right.
And they're thinking it's more likely, and my wife concurs with this. She said, "I think your symptoms started almost immediately after your last knee operation." And I was under the knife for 3.5 hours or something like that, under a general anesthesia. And the doctor agreed. He said, "That's more like what we're thinking." There's
Really?
a lot of dementia that's coming out of general anesthesia. A lot of people are having dementia, like symptoms from anesthesia. Long, deep anesthesia. And I've recovered. He said, the reason we think that, there's a ton of research going into this. He said, when you start to recover, it's like a light switch went on. And it's basically what's happened to me. I've gone from where I was to being perfectly normal in a period of about 6 weeks. And
oh my God.
I know.
Do they understand why it took so long to finally recover? Or was it just no idea?
The doctors have said that some people never recover from it. And we have a family member who's had knee surgery about, 2-3 years ago, and he's had dementia symptoms ever since, pretty severe. And
I'm glad we talked now, because I just had back-to-back knee replacements, and woo, I would have heard that, but
yeah. Well, the only thing I can suggest to people who are doing knee replacement surgery, have a spinal.
Yeah.
Because, and then they have other drugs that they can give you. They don't put you under so deep and things like that.
My doctor actually asked me, he goes, "Hey, do you want to do a spinal and watch me do the surgery?" I'm like, "No, I do not." No, I don't want to see that.
Yeah. It's a strange sensation.
Yeah.
I've had both knees replaced, and the one knee that first replaced has been replaced a second time.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my doctor asked me, he's like, "You keep playing." He was like, "You're gonna get this one replaced in 15 years instead of 20." I'm like, "I'm good with that. I am. I'm good with that."
I forget that I'm 66, not 26, and I just try and it's instinctively you just go for things that you really probably shouldn't have no business going for. But
well, where's your pickleball game now? I mean, how's it feel now? Like, you feel?
Well, it's interesting. 6 years of not playing on foot, or being at 4 feet tall instead of 6
Yeah.
feet where I'm at when I stand. It's a change. The angles are all different, and it's like relearning all these angles. I'm overhitting the ball because I'm on the ball sooner than I expect to, because
Exactly.
in the
Yeah.
wheelchair, hands are down on the push bars with your paddle. So that's your ready position, and you're pushing to get into position to make a shot way before your opponents even hit the shot. So there's a real delay. You have to really anticipate better than you did as a standing player where they're going to hit that ball on your coming back at you. So the angles are different. I'm at 6 feet instead of 4 feet.
Yeah.
And I'm finding it about 2 weeks ago when I was first started doing it, I was finding I was overrunning the ball, and I wasn't really even running that hard. Like, oh yeah, I'm on it way ahead of the time, and I would miss hit and overhit. I've also realized I just have a ton more power standing than I did in the chair, because you can brace your feet, your hips, everything, your core, everything gets into your shot. And I'm like, wow, I don't remember hitting that hard before. But
it was 6 years of frustration building up. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So what level do you think you'll be playing at now that you're playing standing?
It's going to take a while to get back to a 4 or 5 level, and I don't know that I think I will. I think I will pretty quick, but it's not as quick as I thought it would be. I thought I would just get on the court and I'd be back where I was, and it's going to take a little bit of time. I don't know. I'm hoping to be back at 4 or 5.
Is it a different strategy now too? Because before you had a different strategy in a wheelchair. Now it's a whole new strategy again for you.
Yeah, and everybody says, well, it's just muscle memory with you. You know the game. Your court IQ is really good. It's on the game. It'll come really quick. And I said, but you forget, I had almost 6 years of not remembering what I did on foot.
Right.
And it isn't just muscle memory. There's a lot of thinking that's involved in that too. So
yeah,
I'll be there. I'm
excited.
I already had one of the guys I played against at Shaw the other day made a comment to me. I had to laugh. He said, life was a lot easier around here on these courts when you were in your wheelchair. I said,
that's hilarious.
As I get better control.
I think we found your weakness. Here it is. Ginny thinks it's your partner. So I know she's played with you. So that's why she's saying that. So
yeah, she is. She's
stop it, Ginny. You're great. So stop it. So we're super excited.
Yeah, me too. And just for my whole life being back together.
Yeah.
And
that's let's talk about that a little. Think about it. You were in a wheelchair for all this time. Now so how has that changed off the court? What are you doing now? It's got to be so different.
Well, I'm in the process. I'm a 66-year-old guy that's in the process of getting his driver's license again.
That's nice.
In fact, I take my road test a week from tomorrow. And
wow.
So, having that freedom again is really big, because one of the hardest things that I really struggled with when I first was diagnosed with this was giving up my driver's license.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that. And,
that must be tough. Yeah.
And I love my cars, and I always hit,
So what's that now? Before you had a car that had to carry a wheelchair. Now, what do you do? What do you do now?
We're looking at sports cars again, but we have a bigger SUV. We have a bigger SUV, which is we got for comfort and carrying things around, and it's been great. But yeah, looking at sports cars, I don't know. Don't know.
Well, if you still have that standing jet ski, break it out.
I know.
That's right.
I don't. I got rid of all that boats and jet skis and all that kind of stuff a few years ago. But we're looking at doing some trips. Being from Canada originally, I've always told my wife, I said, I want to take you back out to Western Alberta and British Columbia and go through the mountains up there again in the summertime, not in the winter. I have no use for winter anymore.
Yeah.
But it's just beautiful out there. And even the Western US, I want to go back out there again.
I had to cover Canada for events a couple years ago, and every city I went to, every one of them snowed on me. Even Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton. It's like it was following me every place I went. I was like, come on.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem with that north of the border stuff. It's all that white stuff.
I know. That's why I moved away from New York. Didn't want to do it anymore. So
we actually,
well, Michael,
we had planned on staying in Florida, but my medical condition was getting bad, and we decided to move up to Georgia to be closer to some family that we have here. So we moved here about a year ago, and I just it was a tough move, and I was nervous when I came up here. I thought, here's the wheelchair guy. He's got to go out on the pickleball courts and meet people all over again. But I got to say that people like Ginny Jarvis and Kathy Anderson and Todd Short, I mean, they've all over the last year become very, very good friends. But Kathy in particular, she was just like shoving me onto different courts everywhere when I first came up here. I didn't know if people up here played a lot of pickleball. You know, I'm used to playing in a park where there's 64 courts in Naples, and I can't come up here and I go, God, I don't even see courts around. And but they set me straight.
They did.
And people.
That's beautiful. Should we ask Michael his proposal story like we did our last two guests?
Well, last two guests had just had anniversaries for their wedding, so we asked them their proposal stories. So let's hear your proposal story.
Well, I think what's even more interesting than my proposal story is how we met.
Oh, okay. All right, even better.
Yeah, we met on Marco Island 10 years ago, 10 years ago, and I was at a place called the Snook Inn, which is right on the water. Just a guy playing guitar was there, doing Jimmy Buffett type songs, and I had some friends there that worked at the place because I lived on the island by myself at the time. And Cindy came walking in with a girlfriend of hers into the bar, and I was about ready to leave. And I tell people this all the time. I said the very first words out of my mouth to my wife were a lie, because she came up to me and she said, she's a real pretty girl, and she says, "Hi, how you doing?" I said, "I'm good. How are you?" And she says, "Well, my girlfriend and I are on vacation, and we're just looking for a place that has a good burger." And I said, she goes, "Do they make good burgers here?" And I said, "The best." And I knew as those words came out of my mouth, it was a total lie, because they're not known for their food there. But
you had to have her stay. She had to stay.
Yeah.
That's great.
But and we just talked. And then we met again the next day. I was really lousy at the single life thing. I was no good at it. And I forgot to get her phone number that night. We made plans to meet up on the beach the next day, and I couldn't find her. I went up and down the beach on my jet ski looking for her. I couldn't find her. And finally I went home at the end of the day and took a shower, and I said, those two are on vacation. They're going to go somewhere on this island. I said, I'm going to hit every restaurant on the island. And
awesome. So
I went to this one place, and the very first place I went to, I was talking to this guy saying, I think I just blew the best thing that might have ever happened to me. I forgot to get the phone number of this girl, and blah, blah, blah. And I look across the bar, and she's right there.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I go over, and I said, that was it.
Is Cindy right there? Is she right there?
Cindy?
She want to put on the camera. Ask her if did she hide from you because of the jet ski was a stand up? She's like, oh no, that's a stand up jet ski. Run! No, I'm kidding. I'm just
actually then yeah. Good
I
one.
know. I'm just kidding.
No, actually then I had to sit downs by then. But,
okay.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story. That's awesome. I love that story.
That's lovely.
Yeah. So you know, we always joke around. We say we got hooked at the snook. You know?
Yes, love that. That's awesome. Oh, Michael, I'm so glad you joined us today. This was a great story. I wanted to hear it, you know, because Carla came in. She's like, "Oh, I ran into Michael, and he's reversing. He wants to talk about it." I was like, "Yes, get him, please join us." So I'm very excited. I can't wait to run into you at the courts. You'll be at the higher end court. I'll just wave to you and say, "Hey, it was nice seeing you."
Yeah, exactly.
I'll go anywhere to play. As soon as I get my car, I'll be going everywhere.
That's right. Good luck on the license. That's right.
Yeah.
So
I don't have to. It would be great not to have to rely on people like Ginny and Todd to pick me up and take me there. You know.
Yeah.
All the time.
So let me ask you this real quick, just because my 16-year-old son just got his license. Is it a COVID road test, or is it a, you know, are they back to normal? Do you know?
You know, I don't even know how they're going to do it. It's all I know is it's taken almost 2 months to get an appointment because of COVID.
Yeah. If it's COVID, I'm going to give you a little hint. I'll give you a little inside. Have your wife come with you, right? Have her sit in the car with you, right? If they'll let her, because I got to sit in the car with my son. And they stay outside the car, and all you have to do is kind of do like 2 parallel parks, get it right, and then a back up, and you're done.
Yeah.
That was it.
They have cones set outside the facility there.
Yeah, see, you're gonna. It's quick and easy. So just work on the parallel parking and then backing up into a spot, and you'll be good.
Well, I used to drive fire trucks for.
So you're saying this is gonna be really hard for you? That's what you're saying.
I figured it's no big deal.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be easy for you. So, well, good luck with that, and thank you so much for joining us. We had a blast, and we look forward to seeing you on the court.
Definitely.
Well, thank you. Could I just say one shout
Absolutely. Yeah.
Engage Pickleball, Jody and Rob Elliott and Josh, their kids, Josh and Rachel. They have sponsored me for the last 5 years, and they've become really, really good friends. They're a great family. They make great paddles, but aside from that, they've just been stepped up and helped me out a ton. Rob actually, before we moved up here, helped me with wheelchair mobility videos that we did to help teach people how to play wheelchair pickleball and mobilize your chairs properly. And we did that in Florida just before we moved up here, actually. And
that's amazing.
So on Facebook, I have a wheelchair pickleball. All you have to do is search wheelchair pickleball, and it'll come up. But they're pretty good videos to help people who are just beginning to play in a wheelchair learn how to do it properly and safely. So
that's amazing.
That's the other thing.
So now that you're walking again, are you going to still try to push and help with the foundation and keep pushing forward with it?
Absolutely. I feel obligated to do it. I've made some really, really good friends in wheelchair pickleball. We were going to have about 14 or 15 wheelchairs at the US Open this year, but because of COVID, there were like 5 Canadians that couldn't come down. So that's not as we'd hope for. But I think providing COVID is cleared up next year, I think we should have a lot more. And I might play with some of my wheelchair buddies at the Open.
As a hybrid?
As a standing play.
That'd be amazing. We have to see that. That'd be amazing. So, well, then in this case, when are you having your tournament so we can all be a part of it and then contribute and be a part of this? Come on, we have to have it.
I haven't thought that far ahead. I've just.
You should absolutely have to have the tournament now. You have to. We just were down in Griffin. It was amazing down there. So you have to have the tournament. Let people come out and raise money for you so you can actually produce more wheelchairs next year, because that's what we need to do.
That's not a bad idea. I hadn't even thought about that, but that's not a bad idea, and I'll probably give some thought to that for sure.
You should, and then we'll come in. We'll co-host it for you, and be part of the whole event.
We're getting really close right now. We've raised enough money that we're gonna have to start negotiating now, but we've got enough money to buy a couple of these sport wheelchairs right now from the Astral program, and what we're trying to determine now is where we're going to have the chairs go. I don't want them to go to, say, a gym or something like that and have it sit in a closet collecting dust.
Right.
I want it to go to, we're thinking of Wounded Warrior Project or veterans, something like that, where they they do have programs and they would use them.
What about injured firemen or police officers? It seems like
I don't know of an organization like that, but yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I've had
That seems right down your alley.
reach out to me.
Yeah. Well, if you guys are an injured fireman or police officer and looking to play pickleball, Mike wants to help you, put you in a chair to play because he needs a hybrid partner. That's it. He's really he was bad at the single life, but he's really good at finding partners.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, thank you so much. We enjoyed it so much. We look forward to seeing you on the courts, and we love it. Thank you for your story. It's been amazing.
Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thanks for having me, and you know, I really appreciate it, and you've helped me actually trying to get that word out about wheelchair pickleball. And
anytime you want. Yeah, we'd love to be a part of it.
The wheelchair changed my life.
Yes,
it really did. It took me from a real dark place to a real positive place. I mean, playing wheelchair pickleball and then helping grow the wheelchair aspect of pickleball, it helped me at my disposition tremendously.
That's amazing. That's awesome. And we love to hear that. That's an amazing story. And
thanks.
I'm excited. So, well, Michael, thank you. We appreciate your time.
All right.
And we'll definitely see you on the courts.
We'll see you on the courts.
All right.
Okay.
We're gonna put you back in the green room for a second. Yeah. Woo! That was awesome.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, I knew when I met him and he told me that he was getting better. I knew we had to talk to him. I wanted to.
That was simply one of the best stories I've heard in mine. They're so exciting. So I love it. Oh, yeah, we love you too, Jenny. Thank you. Yay! So nice. So, well, real quick, everybody, we appreciate it. We had a great time, but you know what? We're on YouTube now, so you can follow us on YouTube. This was our very first live show on Facebook. That's awesome. So we only screwed up a little here and there. Who cares?
Nobody cursed. We just had some dogs in the background.
Yeah, that's normal. So, but it was awesome. But Carla, again, love you. Thank you so much. I had a great show with you.
Love you, sweetie.
Don't go anywhere because I want to get off live. And Michael's still there. And we can go into the green room and talk a little bit more. So, everybody, thank you for joining us. Thanks for being a part of us. I'm going to keep talking until I find my banner to get us out of here. So, Carly, anything good to say?
Yeah, we'll see you on the courts.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Hydrate, Sean.
Hydrate all the way. Keep hydrating. That's right. Thank you.